So it's time once again for the annual Reading Rush Readathon. So stick around to see what I'll be reading. Hey friends, Roger here. Welcome to my channel, Rogers Reads. So it is time once again for the annual Reading Rush Readathon, which before this year was called Booktubeathon, which is originally created in 2013 by Ariel Bisset. So since then, it's grown to thousands of participants who take part every year to read as much as they can during the 1 week of the Readathon. It's hosted by Ariel Bisset, as I mentioned, and she also has a co-host this year, and that is Raylene LeMay. And I'll post a link to all of the relevant videos below. The announcement of the Readathon, the challenges, and a link to where you can go and sign up. So the date of the Readathon will be from July 22nd to July 28th. So right on Sunday night when the clock switches over to Monday the 22nd, the Readathon officially begins. And the idea is to read as many books as you can within 7 days, and there are 7 challenges this year. Which means conceivably you could try to read 7 books. But if you don't want to do that, you can apply 1 book to several challenges. But I actually chose 7 books. I know, overly ambitious. I will see how I do with them. So the first challenge is to read a book with purple on the cover. And for that one, I chose Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. And I've talked about this book a little bit on my recent book haul. And this is actually a Book of the Month Club, and it's a thriller about a woman who ends up being a caretaker for an apartment building when she learns that the apartment building has quite a dark and mysterious past. And when one of the other caretakers go missing, our main character tries to figure out what's happened. So yeah, sounds really good. And actually this has received quite a bit of hype lately, so I'm looking forward to delving into it. So the next challenge is to read a book in the same spot for the entire time. So that means whether it be a chair, a couch, a picnic table outdoors, or a lounge chair, you have to read that entire book in that same spot. Now, it doesn't need to be one consecutive reading. You can read it 10 minutes in that spot one day, 15 minutes in that spot the next day. It doesn't matter, as long as it's in the same spot. And for that book, I chose Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And this is collected by Alvin Schwartz. Drawings by Stephen Gamel. Now, the reason I picked this is I know that this is going to be made into a movie coming out this year. And I kind of mentioned this in my video in which I talked about book-to-movie film adaptations coming in 2019. So yeah, and it's a short little book, so I should be able to get through it real fairly quickly. And I think it's kind of a children's book, or at the very least geared more towards young people. So I'll report back. So the next challenge is to read a book that you meant to read last year. And for that, I chose Grace Logan and the Goblin Bones. And this is written by Pam Binder. And I actually won this in a Goodreads drawing, and I've been meaning to get to it, and I just kind of forgot about it. So this is a good excuse to get to it. And it's a fairly short book. It's like 225 pages, and it looks with fairly big print, so I should be able to get through it pretty quickly. So this is about a woman whose father is kidnapped by the Goblin Lord, and she has to go into the Goblin underworld to rescue him. And also when the goblins kidnapped her father, they placed a sleeping death spell over her castle. So Grace has to descend into the Goblin underworld to try to rescue her father. It says, in the world of fairy, only the bold will survive. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to that this week. So the next challenge is to read an author's first book. And for this one, I decided to go with How Not to Die Alone by Richard Roeper. It is Richard Roeper, right? Yes, Richard Roeper. And this is another Book of the Month Club selection, as we can tell by the Book of the Month logo on top of the book. And this is actually quite different. It follows Andrew, who is a public servant, I guess, and his job entails searching for the next of kin of those who die alone. Now, Andrew also has everybody at work believing that he has this loving family that he goes to every night, which is not the case at all. He's actually quite lonely. So then a new woman comes into his life, and he has to debate whether to tell her the truth, because doing so could destroy everything. And that's basically all I know about the book. So I'd like to get to that during this readathon as well. And this is a little bit longer, 300 some pages, but perhaps I'll be able to swing it. So the next book is to read a book with a non-human character. So I'm thinking, what book do I have with a non-human character? You know, I had a bunch of vampire books, but I got rid of them all. I unhauled them all. But then I remembered A Dog's Journey by W. Bruce Cameron. Now, it was just last month I read the first book in this series. I think this is just a duology, which was A Dog's Purpose, which I really enjoyed. So I thought, well, since I just read the first one, might as well read the second one for this readathon. And actually, it's kind of funny. I got this book first at a library sale, and I did not realize it was book 2 in a series. So that's the reason I read the first one last month, and now I have an excuse to read book 2. What's funny about the first one also is that my book club picked this book for the book of the month last month, and I already had it, so that was kind of nice. I didn't have to go out and buy another book. You know, I've never liked books that are told from the point of view of animals, but you know, A Dog's Purpose really worked for me, and I'm hoping this one does too. I also picked up another book from that same library sale, The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein, I think his name is. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check on that. But who knows, maybe I'll read that one next month. So the next challenge is to pick a book that has 5 or more words in the title. For that one, I chose I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. And this is written by Gilly Segal and Kimberly Jones. And this is actually an ARC that I just received, and it's due out on October 1st. And this is actually a young adult mystery or thriller. Let me read you the back. Lena has her killer style, her awesome boyfriend, and a plan. She knows she's going to make it big. Campbell, on the other hand, is just trying to keep her head down and get through the new year at school. When both girls attend the Friday night football game, what neither of them expects is for everything to descend into sudden mass chaos. Chaos born from violence and hate. Chaos that unexpectedly throws them together. They aren't friends. They hardly understand the other's point of view. But none of that matters when the city is up in flames and they only have each other to rely on if they're to survive the night. So, yeah, so it sounds like quite a ride, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this. And again, this will be out on October 1st. So I do want to post a review of this before then, so I'm going to make this a priority for the readathon. So the last challenge is to read and then watch a book-to-movie adaptation. So you read the book first and then watch the movie. And for that one, I chose a book that I already had on my shelves, and that was called Paper Towns by John Green. And I have not read this book, but I've been meaning to. And a few years ago, I did see a trailer for the movie, and the movie sounded really good. I know it's about a boy who's had a crush on his neighbor girl like forever, but she's never paid him much mind. So one night they end up sneaking out together dressed as ninjas, and she kind of takes him on this little journey of revenge that she's carrying out against other people. So then the next day she goes missing, and it appears as though she's leaving him clues to her whereabouts. And that's at least what I got from the trailer that I saw a while back. So I could be totally off base. So we'll find out. So that'll be this. So I'll be reading this first and then watching the movie. So that is it for my TBR for the Reading Rush Readathon. Are you partaking in this readathon? If so, leave a link to your TBR in the description and I'll come check it out. So it should be fun. And my plan is also to vlog the entire readathon. which I'll post right at the very end of the readathon. So just make one longer video of all the mini vlogs from the days that I am participating. So that is about it. As always, I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support. And if you like this video, I appreciate if you click the like button below, as that really helps my channel out. And that'll do it. I'll talk to you in the next video. Roger and out.